Hello and welcome to a Talmud Israeli production. Today we'll review the highlights of this week's course of Daf Yomi study, Masechet Sotah, pages 18 through 24. Yudchet through Chaf Daled. 18. Zeh haklal. This is the general principle. Kol sheyitba'el v'lo te'asura lo ha'yamat neima. Ha'asira ha'chanam yitamat neima shmamina. The general principle is that a husband cannot effectively warn his wife in a Sotah type warning about intimate relations that, had she engaged in them, would not have rendered her forbidden to him. Because after all, it's not his purview. And what business does he have to warn her about that? However, the implication is that every type of intimate interaction that she might have that would render her forbidden to him, by any halachic means, he does have the ability to warn her an effective and legally valid Sotah warning. Yutet 19. If the scroll of the Sotah Parsha, which has God's name in it, was already erased, and she says, I'm not going to drink the potion, we coerce her, we threaten her, we coerce her to drink the potion. We'd rather she admit her guilt at an earlier phase, and we really don't want the name of Hashem to be erased at all. And if anything we can do to avoid the erasure of God's name, we will do. However, once it was already accomplished and that Hashem's name has been erased, then we want this Sotah potion not to go to waste. And her recalcitrance and her being impossible at this juncture is something that halacha can't brook. And so the authorities of the temple have to engage in coercive tactics to get her to drink at that juncture. Chaf 20. If she had some merit, this woman who drank the Sotah potion, then her merit could serve to stave off the effects of the punishment of having consumed the Sotah potion, at least for a little while. It can delay the inevitable. It could delay it 1 year, 2 years, 3 even 3 years. We don't know exactly how long it's going to last. So on this basis, Ben Azai said, a man has to teach his daughter Torah, because it's important for her to know that if she were to drink the potion, her merit that is in her favor could serve to stave off the effects of the potion. Rabbi Eliezer However, no. Rabbi Eliezer says if you teach your daughter Torah, it's like you teach her promiscuity. This line has been abused as a way of saying that women shouldn't study Torah at all. The original context was Rabbi Eliezer's concern that if women knew there were ways to avoid the immediate consequences of the Sotah punishment, they'd be more promiscuous in their behavior. And we don't want them to do that, therefore better they shouldn't know anything about it. However, Ben Azai's perspective is, no, we don't want women to reject the legitimacy of Torah and come to be scoffers on the grounds that they knew they were guilty and they drank the potion and nothing happened to them. So rather, Ben Azai wants them to think that Tolan, there is a suspension of punishment on account of one's virtues and merits. And that suspension of punishment is what leads them to continue to live, at least a little while longer, and not suffer any consequences. So learning Torah is a way of saving the Judaic belief system of these girls. Chaf Aleph 21. Heichi dami chasid shotah. What is an example of a pious fool? A woman is drowning in the ocean. And the man says, well, it's unseemly for me as a man to be gazing upon that woman, so I won't do it, and then I won't save her, and she'll drown. So that person is a chassid shotah in the sense that his piety on matters of male-female interactions may be in some sense virtuous, but it's to an extreme and absurd extent, to the point that he's losing an opportunity to save a human life. And so he becomes more a shotah than he is a chassid. Chaf Bet 22. Ezehu Am Haaretz. What is an example of an Am Haaretz, the people of the land? The vast bulk of the Jewish population were considered Amei Haaretz, those who were not especially learned or pious. The question is, how do we define an Am Haaretz? So one perspective is, If they don't say Shema morning and evening with the blessings, they're an Am Haaretz. Basic liturgical obligations. If they don't do it, Am Haaretz. Another perspective says, Kol she'eino tefillin. If he doesn't put on tefillin every day, Am Haaretz. Another perspective is, Ein lo tzitzis bevigdo. He doesn't put on a talis, 4-cornered garments with the tzitzis. Another says, Yesh lo banim v'negadlo l'Talmud Torah. He has children, but he doesn't raise those children to study Torah. So that's terrible, because after all, if you're gonna raise Jewish children, the whole point is for them to be familiar with their religious heritage. If you bring children into the world as a Jew and you don't give them an education in their religion, that's terrible. Am Haaretz. Alternatively, afilu kara v'shana v'lo shimesh t'minei chachamim hariza Am Haaretz. Even if he read the Bible and he read the Mishnah, but he didn't serve the scholars, meaning study the Talmud, he's an Am Haaretz. That's a very extreme and fundamentalist point of view, effectively putting everyone in the category of Am Haaretz except for those who had advanced yeshiva training. But that is only one perspective. Chaf Gimel, 23. Arusa v'shomeret yavam, a woman who was merely betrothed, an arusa, or a shomeret yavam, she's awaiting yibum or chalitza from her dead husband's brother. Lo shotov lo notot tuba. They don't drink the potion, the sotah potion, and they do not accept, take the ketubah monies. Because the parsha of Sotah, which talks about what happens to a wayward wife, says the wife is under the domain of her husband. Prat la'arusa v'shomeret yavam. But an arusa is not under the domain of her husband. She's only betrothed in the sense that any infidelity is a capital crime, but she's not really with her husband. And the shomeret yavam is not married at all. She just has a zika relationship, an association with her brother-in-law that might be consummated at a later time. Chaf Daled. These are the categories of women for whom the Beit Din, the court, will issue a warning about her not secluding herself with another guy. If the husband became deaf mute, he's been physically incapacitated by disability. And so he would have done it if he were fully capable, but he can't, because he can't talk at this point and doesn't know what's going on. Or if he became deranged, not physically incapacitated, but mentally incapacitated. Or he was in jail. And had he known what was going on because he was home, he would have given her the warning. But now that he's in jail, she's free to do whatever she wants. So the Beit Din has to come and say, no, don't seclude yourself with that man. Everyone have a great week.